Welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. I'm Jeff DiVeronica with Steve Bradley. Section 5 girls basketball celebrated its 50th anniversary of its tournament, Steve Bradley. And we have as our next guest on our program, as the guest of this program, I should say, the Pittsford Mendon girls basketball team, which just won its 16th as a program and what we believe to be a record 6 consecutive titles, Steve Bradley. The Mendon machine works on both sides, boys
Absolutely,
and girls.
yes. 2 schools in Section 5 won both boys and girls championships. Notre Dame of Batavia, Mendon, 6 in a row. It's historic, and it's just amazing to watch this team year in and year out, just churn it out, grind it out, and we know that it's not just thrown together. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of chemistry.
Well, this is a program, I can tell you that, and the guy who's led that program for 22 years, Todd, Julien, joins us right now along with Anaya, Coleman. They're actually, as we record this, in Buffalo scouting for the next round. And also Danny Strauf joins us too. First off, congratulations, Mendon. I know how difficult these are to win, and I'm sure Coach can expound upon that because at one point, Steve Bradley, Mendon and Todd Julien lost 6 in a row. So to win 6 in a row is pretty cool. So
he loves it when you bring that up, by the way.
I always bring that up. It's because Todd, and I say this in all sincerity, you're a testament to resilience and stick-to-itiveness, because a lot of people would say, that's it, I'm going to move on. Let somebody else try to do this. And you didn't say that, Coach. Give you a lot of credit for sticking around. 6 in a row now. Todd, it's never easy in Section 5, and you did win handily, 58-39 over a good Webster Schrader team. What did it take to get this one done, sir?
It took a collective effort to get this one, Jeff. We've got we've got a really good team. We've got a really good team. They got great chemistry together, and I want to point out the 2 kids on this call. The reason that we're so successful here right now this year is because of these 2 guards. These guys are both 2-year captains, both very unselfish. Both these kids could get 30 a game if we needed them to, but they play within our system, and they do what's needed to do to win, and that's what's first on their list. And I'm glad to share this program with them because the reason we're winning is our guard play.
Anaya, Coleman, you're sitting right next to Coach Julien. You're in Buffalo scouting. What is it like to be in the position that you are to uphold this tradition as a Mendon Viking?
It's an honor. We've had so many great players in this program who have done great things. Even from being a freshman and playing with Lexi and Elena and Ellie Mooney and just that whole team and seeing, what it took to, win states for them, and it's inspiring. And we hope to carry that along this year and follow in their footsteps.
Danny, let's talk a little about Saturday's win over Schrader, because this was a Schrader team that has some weapons for sure, and your defense is always there. You can't control how many nights if the ball's going to go in the basket on a certain night, but you certainly can control effort and defense, and y'all did that, holding them to 11 points in the first half. Mariah Watkins has been a wrecking ball, a single-handed wrecking ball this year. How worried were you about that young lady, and what did the Vikings do to try to slow her down, because it worked?
Well, you're totally right. I mean, Schrader has so many good powerhouses over there, especially the Watkins sisters. So we knew that if we wanted to beat them, that we would have to collectively play defense together. And I'll shout out one of our girls, Kate Hennessy, had the task of guarding her, and she did a phenomenal job. She just worked so hard, but then the rest of us, the other 4 of us, were really trying to pack it in and make Mariah think that she has no real estate. And then our number 1 goal was to get those rebounds and minimize our turnovers, and we succeeded, and that's why we won.
Todd, a bit of a redemption tour, too. You won the 2019 state title. Both of these young ladies were on that team. 2020, you talked about it before, one of the toughest meetings you ever had as a coach or even in life was in the room with your team, telling them that the opportunity to go to states wasn't going to be there. What does it mean to have that chance with this group?
It means everything, and I honestly believe, Steve and Jeff, that this group right here is really good friends with those last 2 teams that qualified for states and couldn't go because of COVID. And they really kind of carry the flag for those kids, almost like they're still with us. They didn't get the opportunity, but that's the kind of attitude those kids had. And if we can somehow get through this thing, it's going to be the kids that didn't get to go provided a lot of motivation for this team, and they'll really feel good about it, kind of like they won it themselves.
You know, in a way, I remember, Todd, when you guys finally did break through and win the first one, you talked in the game story I wrote about how this is for all the other girls that didn't get a chance to hold that brick. It's not just, and that's what's really, I think, separates this program is really special at the large school level because in Section 5, because you haven't had that one superstar. You've had really good players, don't get me wrong. No disrespect to your players. But this is always a good, and I think Danny mentioned the word collectively, and this is always a good team. Mendon brings that to the table. But I will say there was a breakout player in the third quarter on Saturday. Danny, you were the one that hit those 3 threes in what turned into a 30-point quarter. So it was a 9-point ball game at halftime. Schrader's still in striking distance. You hit him with an 11-4 run to start the third, and you hit 3 of those threes in what's a 30-point surge. How'd you get open, and was it time to take control, Danny, as a senior?
Well, as you know, the first half wasn't going so well with our shots. We were missing a lot of open layups, and I missed a few threes as well. But our coaches always tell us that even if you're missing your shots, you don't stop taking them. And if you don't shoot them, there's a nice spot on the bench next to the coaching staff. So you never want that. But honestly, like I said before, we feed off each other's energy. And so although my shots weren't falling in the first half, I knew that coming into the second half, whole new quarter, we always focus on third quarter starts. So looking at my teammate over here, Anaya, she had a great third quarter as well. In the fourth quarter, she lit it up. So we just work together and feed off of our offensive energy and defense.
Anaya, I'm going to go back to what Coach said about carrying the flag for some of the people that don't or didn't have the opportunity that you and your teammates have. You do that with pride. Is that something that you take on? And do you think about those players in your game prep? And is that one of the reasons you all give your best every day?
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. I still remember being in practice after finding out that we weren't going to have a season after winning sectionals. And I remember just everyone was just in there a mess. And most of the underclassmen weren't really – we were sad the season was done, but we were all very sad that the seniors didn't get a chance to win it. And so we definitely carry that with us, and we've learned a ton of lessons from the people before us. So, yeah, it's always in the back of our minds.
Anaya had 15 points in the championship game. Danny had 11, and the MVP was Lily Kennedy, who had 17 points in the championship game. Did my research here, Steve. She had 25 in the first round victory over Gates. She had 18 in a 20-point win over Brighton. So Anaya had 19 and Danny had 12. And then Lily also had 23 over Sutherland, 57-30 in the semifinals. Todd, give us a quick thought on her before we take a break on what Lily Kennedy does for this squad.
She's a great player, very, very versatile, Jeff, and she's kind of follows in the footsteps of Elena and Sarah Stark, those kinds of kids. She's a full 5'10". She's a forward with guard skills, and we love those kids because they're almost impossible to match up with. They can guard 1 through 5 on the floor, and 1 through 5 can't guard them just because there's going to be an advantage based on who they're guarding. So she had a great tournament, but I do want to point out that those 30 points and those scoring for her, that's because she was open. There's 2 kids on this call could have easily put up just as many points, if more, depending on how we're being defended. We're just unselfish that way. And that's what makes them go.
Well, let's talk what's coming up next soon. Let's take a quick break, come back, and we'll talk what Mendon can do the rest of the way, because they certainly don't want to stop now. You're watching the Coleman Strauf Ferris High School Sports Show on Rock Sports Now.
Looking for a used truck? Can you find one out of 350? At BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com, you'll find one. Love SUVs? 800 are waiting for you to take one home at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com. At 350 pre-owned sedans, and you've got a total of 1,500 used vehicles only at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com.
Bob Johnson's got your ride. Bob Johnson.
While we celebrate 140 years of serving our community, the kind of delicious joy that lasts a lifetime, we look forward to serving you for 140 more. With hardworking, wholehearted, passionate people who will help shape new memories for generations to come.
When it comes to workers' comp, things can change quickly. The only way to make sure your rights are protected is to have a trusted, committed attorney on your side.
An attorney who has devoted their career to helping injured workers.
Someone to fight for the money and medical benefits you deserve.
The only person on your side
is the attorney at your side.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
The best three things here at McQuaid are definitely the sports, the brotherhood, and the service to community. I think that's a really big, important thing that McQuaid stresses, which is part of creating a better and great man. You definitely feel a connection with your fellow students here. It's being all guy school. You're able to relate to each other on a personal level, and everyone's very welcoming here with open arms and willing to be your friend.
Local McDonald's operators care about our local schools, teams, and student athletes. That's why they support the return of high school athletics in the Rochester area and around the state. See you before or after the big game at McDonald's. Welcome back, Section 5. Game on!
In these challenging times, our dedicated team at American Custom continues to provide top-quality installations to every customer. With guidelines and restrictions changing daily, we apply attention to every detail. You can trust our team to make sure the job is done right.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff DiVeronica and Steve Bradley talking with Pittsford Mendon girls basketball, 6 straight Section 5 titles. We believe that's a Section 5 record, Steve Bradley, breaking some news here on the program. And they've matched the Alba Lancers with 16 titles overall. We've got Danny Strauf, Anaya, Coleman, and Todd, Julien, the coach of the Vikings here. Ladies, let me ask you that about being record breakers. Anaya, no matter what happens, you're on the team that made history here at Mendon. Do you think you're going to think about that much 10 years from now, 12 years from now? I guess, what would you think about first when you think about this time in your life? What comes to mind first?
I don't know. I think it's just, I mean, I've always said this, that, like, for me, I've only been here for 4 years, 4 out of the 6, but it feels just as special as the first time we won it. And, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool to know that we made history.
One more question, because Coach used this phrase earlier when we talked about you breaking ankles. Do you like to watch people on TV that can jitterbug and spin dribble and make people fall down when you're dribbling? Anybody you like to watch at the professional level or collegiate level that you've tried to pattern some moves after?
Yeah. Well, if we're like talking NBA, and then definitely Kyrie Irving. He's one of my favorite players for sure. So when I was younger, it was definitely him. But then also, like, growing up in Indiana, I was a big Notre Dame fan, so Skylar Diggins and Jewel Lloyd, Lindsey Allen, those are some of the players that I like. So
we talked to Danny a little bit before in a little pre-interview. Danny was on the 2019 state team, actually made a big shot in the regional round with 7 seconds left to force overtime. What's this ride been like for you, Danny? All the highs, and we've talked about some of the lows, and now kind of being in the middle with a chance to climb another mountain.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been so lucky to be a part of this program since 3rd grade, starting in our CYP program. But at Mendon, I feel like my role has changed like each year. And honestly, I've loved every single role that I've played. In 2019, it was cool because I wasn't playing that many minutes, but I knew that when I got in the game, I had to do what I had to do. So that shot, it's still really cool to think about. But this year, I just love the group of girls we have. We have 10 seniors that we all love each other's company. And our underclassmen are also great. We don't talk about them enough, but we all just have great chemistry and we love each other. And hopefully, we're really hoping that we can get it done continuing forward, because that was our main goal at the beginning of the season, was we wanted to go as far as we could.
Well, it's been quite a run for Mendon, and if I go back to where Todd and Anaya are actually at Buffalo State right now, and Buffalo State is where buzzer beaters have treated you pretty well at Buffalo State, Todd, if I remember correctly. We just mentioned the one Danny made, and I'm drawing a blank on the girl who made the buzzer beater. Todd, you'll know it because I remember doing a video. Who was it?
Kristen Powers.
Kristen Powers. And you gotta play the next round. Maybe we should try to move it to Buff State. The next round's going to be at Rush Henrietta.
Most likely Hamburg or Williamsville South. And both teams have a really great player. You got Gretchen Dolan from Will South. She averages about 40 a game, I think. And you've got an up and coming forward from Hamburg. The girls will probably know her name. Do you guys know who that is?
Clara Straff.
Yeah, Clara Straff. So she's a D1 prospect. Jeff, we've already played Hamburg once because we thought that would be the team coming out of Buffalo. So we went to Hamburg early in the year and beat them at their place. And, we hope that plays well. Obviously, they had a lot of room. They've probably come a long way since then, but we think we have too. So we're ready to go.
So, Danny, let me ask you about this. This time of the year, a lot of coaches will say, let's just focus on what we do. What we do is enough to win. But yet, you do want to scout a little bit too and find out what people like. Do you worry too much about maybe trying to get too much information on the other team and having overload, or is that how much does scouting help you? Is I guess my question.
I think personally we scout a good amount when we play a team because we have a bunch of good players that can adjust to every game that we play, and we always want to take whatever advantage that we can whenever we go to play another team because we have very talented players and a very deep bench. But if we can up that level of advantage, we're going to do whatever we can. And so our assistant coach, Matt D'Amico, he takes a lot of time in huddle, and we always work together, and he puts in so much time, and then we translate that to practice. And I think that's what sets us apart when we play these other teams because we play anticipating what they're going to do against us.
Todd, Danny was just talking about game prep. Obviously, you're in Buffalo to see an opponent. Not all coaches do that now. Some rely on the video. Do you prefer to go to games? And if so, seeing your opponents live, what advantages does that give you?
Good question.
Yeah, good question, Steve. There's advantages to both. I really like to get an eye on it so we can get a kind of a sense of the speed and quickness that's out there. But the tape's also very valuable. We can scout sets and things like that. And just one quick thing to point out with these two, with our two guards right here. We're just not giving them the game plan. They're involved in developing the game plan, and they're both really good at it. They both take film seriously. We'll all watch it individually and then come in and develop a game plan together. And in many cases, it's Danielle and Anaya's ideas what we end up implementing from a defensive and offensive standpoint. They really do a lot here, and we've tried to make them good at it. And by this time in their career, they both are really good at it.
Now you want to do some coaching down the road, or what? What do you think? No?
I thought about it. It might be fun.
Cool. Well, listen, Mendon, congratulations on getting this far. We know that there's other hurdles to climb to get over, and we wish you the best of luck doing that. Hopefully, maybe we'll be talking in a couple weeks. That'll be real fun too. All right?
Hey, really appreciate having us on. Everything you do for high school sports, Jeff. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Well, thanks for making it happen too, Todd. We know you guys jumped through a couple hoops for us tonight.
Anytime. You guys.
Good luck. Good luck on the regionals, Pittsford Mendon, folks. One of the top programs in Section 5 basketball.
Stop. In the state. You can say
Yeah, you got it. In the state. I like it. Some knuckles. Hey, thanks for watching us right here on YouTube on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show on Rock Sports Now.